Okay, I'm going to explain this question. Listen up. So John and Peter had some stamps. Peter had 23 more stamps than John. After Peter gave away 57 stamps, John had twice as many stamps as Peter. Find the number of stamps Peter had in the end. So this question has a very important statement that tells you that this question is a model question. It's a question that requires you to use model. And the keyword is this, more than. So whenever a question has this phrase, more than or less than, the question approach is model. Okay, so the first thing we draw is a model that represents Peter having 23 more than John. So this is key, because as you go, as you progress further down into P5 and then subsequently to P6, you'll be confused whether should this question use model, use table. Okay, later part you'll say, should I use ratio, percentage, and so on. All right. So there will be many ways you can solve a question. The basic rule is this: whenever a question has the word more than or less than, 90% of the time you should use the model approach. Okay. So do Peter has 23 more than John. So this is a standard comparison model. Next, after Peter gave away 57 stamps, so I'm going to shade away 57 stamps from Peter. And I know that if I shade 57 stamps from Peter, John will have twice as many stamps as Peter. Now, the question that many students ask is, how much should I shade from Peter? Correct? How much should I shade from Peter? Should I shade until here, here? So the way to do it to present it better so that you will not make careless mistake is to identify in the end who is the person is going to be 1 unit. So if you read this question statement, John had twice as many stamps as Peter. From this statement, you know that Peter is going to be 1 unit and John is going to be 3 units. So the thought process is this: before you just randomly shade away something from the Peter's model, you ask yourself who is the 1 unit. So from this statement, you can see that Peter is the 1 unit and John is the 3 unit. So with that, you can very clearly or estimate how you're going to cut away 57 from Peter. So Peter is the 1 unit, right? So you know that John could be 3 units. So you just roughly shade away this. So leaving something that look like 1 unit, and then this is going to be 3 units. All right. So this is how you do it. Next, you look at the model again. Focus on the units now. Okay, focus on units. After you shade away, you now focus on units. So you focus on units, you can see that you're actually comparing them. Peter is 1 unit, John is 3 units. So when you focus on the units, you will see that you're actually comparing, and when you're comparing, you subtract. When you compare, you're actually looking for a difference between two things. So when you subtract, you know that the difference here is 2 units. Now, the next step is ask yourself, what's the value of the 2 units? See, the thought process is like this, right? You compare the units, then you get the difference, you identify the difference of the units, then ask yourself how much that unit, what's the value that is represented by the 2 units. So from here you can see 57 minus 23, which is also this 2 units. So therefore 2 units is 57 minus 23, and that is equal to 34. Then find 1 unit. Make it a habit every time you get the value of 1 unit, read the question again. Okay? Read the question again to make sure you answer the right question. Find the number of stamps Peter had in the end. So we are looking at how many stamps Peter had in the end. So we are talking about this 1 unit, not the entire bar of Peter, but what is left unshaded, which is 1 unit. So the therefore answer is 70, 1 unit. Okay, now let's look at question number 2. Everybody. John and Peter had an equal number of stamps at first. Okay, John gave away 28 of his stickers and Peter bought another 14. In the end, Peter had twice as many stickers as John. How many stickers did John have at first? So first, we'll draw 2 bars that is equal, John and Peter. John gave away 28 means you have to cut away 28 from John. So the way to do it is to shade it. Whenever you cut something, you shade it away. Okay? And you are going to add to Peter 14 stickers because Peter bought another 14 stickers. So I'm going to add 14. Now the question is, how much do I add? When you cut something, you know, okay, 28, right? But how much do I add here? Or how should the bar looks like when I add here? Okay, you can roughly add something like this, but you always ask yourself the question, who is going to be the 1 unit in the end? Peter had twice as many stamps, has stickers as John. So John is going to be the 1 unit, right? So John will be here. This will be 1 unit. And Peter is going to be 3 units. So Peter, you're going to add something to Peter that looks like 3 times this. Okay? So roughly. So this will be the 14 stickers. Now, John is 1 unit, right? Remember? And Peter will be 3 units. Indicate in the diagram 3 units. Don't just leave it empty. Indicate in the diagram. You will notice I put the 3 units outside the box. Do not do this. Do not do this. Do not put the 3 units here. Do not put the 3 units here. I know some people put the 3 units here. Once you put inside the box, right, what happened? You will be misled that this is actually 3 units. And this is how careless mistakes happen. Okay, do not put the 3 units inside the box. Put it outside the box, especially when you're covering a big portion. Okay? And clear this. How do I clear this? Okay. So draw it outside the box. Now, again, you compare. Always compare the units first. 3 units is here and 1 unit is here. You're comparing this against this. When you're comparing, you are looking for the difference. And the difference is here, which is 2 units. Now, ask yourself the question, how much does these 2 units represent? Or how many stickers does these 2 units represent? It's 28 plus 14. Okay, you must look at the model properly. 28 plus 14, 1 unit will give you 21. Make it a habit. Every time you get 1 unit, read the question again. How many stickers did John have at first? So the question is asking about John at first, meaning this entire bar, all right? Which is 1 unit plus the shaded portion, 28. So it's 1 unit, 21 plus 28, 49. Okay? Now, question number 3. John had an equal number of apples and pears. So I'll draw a bar for apple and a bar for pears, and they are equal. Okay. Next, after selling 36 apples, he had 4 times as many apples, as many pears as apples. So I'm going to shade away some apples. Okay, 36. Now the question is, how much should I shade? Again, we read the statement to see who is the 1 unit in the end. So the item that is 1 unit in the end is apples. He had 4 times as many pears as apples. So I'm going to shade apples such that what is left for apples is like 1 unit and pears is 4 times the size of apples. So roughly. So this is 1 unit and then this will be 4 units. Okay. So this is 36. Shade it away. Make it a point, shade it away. So this is 1 unit and then the pears is 4 units. Always ask yourself who is the 1 unit. This is easier. That's the easier approach. Now, when you look at this, right, again, compare the units. Like just the question 1 and 2, compare the units. When you compare the units, you're looking for the difference. So difference is 4 minus 1, 3 units. And look at the diagram. Where is the 3 units? So these are 3 units, right? 3 units, 36, right? So what unit is 12. Make it a habit. Every time you get a value of 1 unit, read the question again to make sure you answer the right thing. Apples and pears. How many apples and pears did John have at first? So we are talking about everything at first. Okay, everything at first. Now, you can find pears at first will be 4 times 12, right? 48. Since apples and pears are equal, 48 times 2, 96. So be careful. A lot of people just give 48 instead of 48 times 2. Okay, question number 4. Okay, let me show you how to do question 4. So John and Peter had the same amount of money, again, equal. Draw 2 bars, one for John, one for Peter. Peter spent John spent $32 and Peter spent $14. So I'm going to shade away $32 from John and $14 from Peter. So the common question is, how much should I shade? How far in should I shade for John and how far in should I shade for Peter? The trick is to know who is the 1 unit in the end. Peter then had thrice as of what John had. So Peter will be 3 units and John will be 1 unit in the end, right? So when you shade John, make sure what is left for John looks like a unit. Okay, so this is 32. Peter will be thrice, means Peter must have 3 units. So just roughly over here, and this is 3 units. Okay, and this will be $14. Any question until here? Any question? Okay, so this is how you shade. Approach is identify who is going to be the 1 unit and then you shade accordingly so that what is left for the person who is 1 unit look like in 1 unit. Okay, then you decide how much you shade for the second person. Okay, now, so this is 1 unit and this is 3 units, right? Always compare the units. So when you compare the units, you're looking at the difference, which is this. Okay, so these 2 units. Now, after that, you must ask yourself, how much or what's the value of these 2 units? Look at the model. You can see that 2 units is represented by the difference of $32 and $14, right? Look at the value because you're looking for the value of 2 units. So compare the values. So 2 units is $18. 1 unit is $9. Read the question again. How much did John have in the end? So look at the model. John in the end is 1 unit. So answer is $9. All right, everybody. Question number 5. Okay, let me explain question 5. So John had 10 more bits than Peter. Again, this tells you it's a model question, okay? More than. So John is 10 more than Peter. Okay. Next, John gave Peter 12 bits. So I'm going to cut 12 from John and give it to Peter. So this is 10. 12 is just basically 10 plus 2 more, right? 10 plus 2 more, 12. So this is 10 plus 2 more, 12. So this is 2. And I'm going to cut this piece and give it to Peter. You got to, when you transfer over to here, when you draw the extension here, try to make it about the same length as this piece that you shade out from John. Okay? As much as you can. So this will be 12. All right? Now, Peter had twice as many bits as John. Again, ask yourself, who is the 1 unit? In this statement, it tells you John is the 1 unit. Peter is going to be 3 units, right? So John is 1 unit. Indicate here 1 unit. Peter is 3 units. So from here to here is 3 units. Everyone okay with this? Okay. Now, once you have the model completed, again, you compare the units. Focus on units. So when you compare the units, you are looking for the difference between 3 units and 1 unit and indicate where the difference is in the diagram. The difference is here. Okay, the difference is here, 2 units. And the 2 units is equal to 12 plus 2. Can you see that? This bar, 12 plus this 2. So you have to observe the model you draw to know where does these 2 units cover. Okay, from here to here, the value will be 2 plus 12. Okay, so 2 units is 14, 1 unit is 7. Read the question again after you get the value of 1 unit. How many bits did John have at first? So we are talking about this whole bar here at first. So John at first is 12 plus 1 unit. Okay, 1 unit is 7. So 12 plus 7, 19. Any question? Okay, no question. Question number 6. Okay, let me go through question 6 now. Again, 16 more bits than Peter. I'm going to draw John is 16 more than Peter. Okay. John gave Peter 20 bits. I'm going to cut away 20 from John and give it to Peter. And I know that in the end, John is 1 unit because he says here Peter had 4 times as many bits as John. So John is 1 unit. So I'm going to cut such that John looks like 1 unit in the end. Okay. So this is John gave Peter 20 bits. So I'm going to cut 20 from John. Okay. And this will be 1 unit. And then give this. So when you draw this part that you are going to give to Peter, try to draw about the same length. So this will be 20. And in the end, you know Peter is going to be 4 units and John is 1 unit under this statement. Peter had 4 times as many bits as John. So this is 1 unit for John and this is 4 units. So now you need to compare the units. 4 and 1. The difference is here, 3 units. Okay. First, I need to fill up this value here. This is 20 minus 16, this is 4. Okay, this will be 3 units. You notice I will write 4 minus 1, 3. I will not assume that the teacher know I get 3 units because I do 4 minus 1. You got to show it. Okay, this is a number statement that you have to show it. Cannot assume the teacher know you get 3 units visually. You can say, hey, on the model you can see what is 3 units. No, because you still have to show 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay. You also cannot assume that the teacher can see 20 minus 16 is 4. You have to show literally 20 minus 16 is equal to 4. Okay. So 3 units will be equal to 20 plus 4. Okay, look at the model. It's 20 plus 4. It's from here to here. So it's 20 plus 4. So 1 unit is equal to 8. Question is, how many bits did John have at first? We are talking about this whole bar at first. So it is 16 plus 4 plus 1 unit or 20 plus 1 unit. 20 plus 8, 28. Question number 7. So let's do this. John and Peter had some sticks. If John gave Peter 30 sticks, they would have an equal number of sticks. If Peter gave John 30 sticks, they will have 4 times as many sticks as Peter. So this is a scenario question. There's two scenarios, right? If this and then double if. If this happen, they have equal. If this happen, John have 4 times more than Peter, as many as Peter. Okay, so let's do the first scenario. John gave Peter 30 sticks. They would have equal number of sticks. So what does this statement actually mean? If John gave Peter 30 sticks, they will have equal. It means that it means that John must have 60 more than Peter, right? Logically, if John give Peter 30 sticks, they are equal. Logically, it means that John have 60 more than Peter, correct? So basically, if I give this 30, right? I give to Peter and they become equal, it means this piece must also be 30, right? And this is 30, right? Which means that originally, John must have 60 more than Peter. So this first statement, if John gave Peter 30, they would have an equal number of sticks. If logically you can see that by reading it, you know that John is actually 60 more than Peter, there is no need to draw this model. Okay? All you need to do is just 30 plus 30 equals 60. Okay? So this statement also tells you that John is originally 60 more than Peter. Right? Now, if Peter gave John 30 sticks, so we know that this John at first is 60 more than Peter. From the first scenario, we know John is 60 more than Peter. Now, if Peter gave John 30 sticks, John would have 4 times as many sticks as Peter. Now you look at this question, right? If Peter gave John 30 sticks, John would have 4 times as many stickers as Peter. This second statement is actually question number 6. Very similar to question number 6. See that if Peter gave John 30 sticks, John will have 4 times as many sticks as Peter. So this statement is actually question number 6. The same concept. So we are combining two things together. So this is what happens when you're in Primary 5. Things get complicated because they're combining concepts into several concepts into one question. Okay. So I am going to cut out 30 from Peter. I know that Peter is going to be 1 unit, right? So this will be 1 unit. And then this piece is going to give to John. Now I know that this is 1 unit and John will be, including this 30, John will be 4 units. Make sure you include this 30. Now, once you have done this, again, you compare the units. Compare the 1 unit against the 4 units, and the difference is 3 units. And this is where the 3 units is represented in the diagram. And 3 units is equal to 30 plus 60 plus 30. And that is equal to 120. 1 unit is equal to 40. With the question again, how many sticks did John have? So originally John had this bar, or this bar. They're the same. Of course, I'll use this one now. This is on top. I can't solve because I do not know what is this one. I use this one. Okay. Exclude this 30. So John at first will be 4 units minus 30. Correct. You're asking how many sticks did John have? Let's see, 40. Okay, I can do 4 units. Okay, so the solution here is 40 plus 30 plus 60. But you can also do 4 units minus 30. You know what I mean? Not one. So the solution here is 1 unit plus 30 plus 60, which is equal to John. Alternatively, you can do 4 units minus away 30. You will both answer will be the same, 130. Now, can we do question number 8? Okay, let's see. So the first scenario, if John gave 13 sweets to Peter, they would have the same number of sweets. Basically, it's just saying John has 13 times 2, 26 more sweets than Peter. Okay? So you draw a model, looks like this. 13 give to Peter, they'll be equal, right? So there's 13 here, and this is 13 that's given away. So to get all together, it is 26 more. So John has 26 more than Peter. So this is basically what this first scenario is trying to tell you. Just trying to tell you John is 26 more than Peter. You notice when you are in primary 4, right? This statement, if John gave 13 sweets to Peter, they will have the same number of sweets. Would be simply John has 26 more sweets than Peter. You know what I mean? Not? So this is how school make your question complicated. They could have just cancelled this away, cancel this away, and say, for example, the question become like this: John and Peter have some sweets. John has, they don't even need this. They don't even need this. The question can be just simply like this: John has 26 more sweets than Peter. If Peter gave 14 sweets to John, John will have 4 times. Correct. If the question had been like this, it would be much simpler. But because you have this, if John gave 13 sweets to Peter, they would have the same number of sweets. It's just to confuse you. Okay, let's continue. So the second scenario is if Peter gave 14 sweets to John, I'm going to cut 14 from Peter and give it to John. Now, Peter will be 1 unit and John will be 4 times. So John is 4 units. So 4 units is here. Peter 1 unit, John is 4 units. So Angel, do you have this model? Once you have this model, you have to compare the units. 4 minus 1 unit. Okay, always compare the units first. And that is 3 units. And 3 units, you got to look at the model carefully. 3 units represented in the model by 14 plus 26 plus 14. I guess, did you miss out adding 14? Do you do 14 plus 26 only? Yeah, common mistakes. People forget to add these 14. 14 plus 26 plus 14. 54. 54 divided by 3, 18. So 1 unit is 18. How many sweets did John have? It's 4 units minus 14, or 1 unit plus 14 plus 26. Whichever you prefer. Okay, 1 unit plus 14 plus 26 is what John had at first. 18 plus 14 plus 26, or 4 units minus 14. You will get 48.